Darius Voss did not sleep much anymore. Sleep felt like surrender, and Darius had been raised by memories that refused to forgive surrender. He sat alone in the Iron Blood quarters, watching Nero Vega breathe beyond the cracked window. The room belonged to him because everyone else understood not to enter unless summoned. That was how leadership worked. That was how survival worked. That was how houses were built when nobody handed you a throne and called it inheritance. The world outside loved him now. That was new. At first, they had laughed at him. They had laughed when Plum humiliated him at registration. They had laughed when the name Blood Debt Barry spread across comment boards and betting channels. They had laughed because people loved turning rage into entertainment when it did not belong to them. Then he started killing. After that, they listened. The broadcast screen across from him displayed his latest kill montage. Darius barely watched it. He knew every strike, every scream, every mistake his opponents had made. The commentators called him ruthless, efficient, the rising storm of the 12th Eclipse. They did not know what he was. Not yet. A notification appeared. Private sponsor challenge available. Darius lifted his eyes. The screen unfolded in red and gold. Challenge title, Tough Nut. Darius almost smiled. The description appeared. Contestant Darius Voss has been selected for private sponsor review. Location, Arena 16. Time, midday tomorrow. Rules, contestant will enter Central Combat Circle. 5-minute recruitment timer will begin. During this timer, any active contestant may register to challenge the target. No maximum participant limit. All registered challengers will fight against target contestant. Elimination condition, death, victory condition. Target survives until all challengers are dead. Reward, legendary upgrade package. Darius leaned forward. The final reward displayed, a weapon system, not ordinary, not sponsor trash, legendary. The kind of upgrade people built careers around. The kind of thing houses bought with fleets and favors. The kind of advantage that could turn a strong contestant into a nightmare. The image rotated slowly. A black spinal harness with unfolding combat limbs, pulse shielding, adaptive blade arrays and nervous system synchronization. Ares Mantle combat relic. Known in old Eclipse records as a one-person warframe. Darius stared at it. With that, he could take Sparkle Doom, all of them. Aurora Reach, Ellie Dawnfall, Plum, Pines, even the little support girl if she got in his way. The acceptance button glowed. Darius pressed it without hesitation. Challenge accepted. Behind him, someone shifted. Darius did not turn. Speak, he said. A man sat near the wall, one of Iron Blood, Tovan. Thin-faced, nervous, talented enough to be useful, frightened enough to be obedient. Usually. Tovan swallowed. That's a dangerous challenge. Darius remained still. Yes. It could be a lot of people. Yes. You don't know how many. No. Tovan looked at the screen, then at Darius. And that doesn't bother you. Darius finally turned. Tovan looked away immediately. Smart. Darius studied him for a moment. Something about the man irritated him tonight. Not because of the question, because of the fear behind it. Fear had use. Fear built fences around weaker minds, but too much fear made people soft, unreliable. Tovan cleared his throat. Can I ask something? Darius's eyes narrowed. You seem committed to that tonight. Tovan hesitated, then rushed the words out before courage abandoned him. What is it with Sparkle Doom? The room became colder. Tovan immediately regretted speaking. Darius stood slowly. The broadcast screen behind him continued replaying kills in silence. What do you mean? Tovan kept his eyes lowered. I just mean, you hate them, more than others. I understand wanting the prize, I understand wanting kills. But with them... He stopped. Darius walked to the window. For a long moment he said nothing, then quietly, I was born on Vea. Tovan looked confused. Darius did not look back. You won't find it on current maps, not under that name, not in the way it was. Outside, Nero Vega glittered. Inside Darius, another world burned. My father served House Rain. Tovan stiffened. Not as some nameless soldier, Darius said. He was high in the Lord's army, trusted, respected. He spoke with Lord Rain himself, sometimes as commander, sometimes as friend. The word friend lingered. Darius stared at his reflection in the glass. I was a child. I did not understand politics. I did not understand rebellion. I did not understand who had claims, who had rights, who had history written in their favor. His jaw tightened. I understood my father. The old memory returned, clearer than any broadcast. Morning light through barracks glass. The sound of training horns. 2 million Rain soldiers preparing for another day. His father laughing as he adjusted the collar of Darius's training coat. You'll lead men one day. Then the alarms, then the sky, then fire. Darius's voice hardened. When Reach came, everyone calls it liberation now. He almost spat the word. To them it was justice. To us it was the end of the world. Tovin did not speak. Darius continued. I remember waking up like any other day. Training fields full. Barracks full. Soldiers everywhere. My father told me to stay close. The memory sharpened. Explosions across the horizon, ships overhead, Reach banners cutting through smoke. Kenny Reach himself moving through battle like history had already decided he would win. My father put me in an escape pod before the planet went. Darius looked down at his hands. I screamed until my throat bled, begged him to come with me. The pod door closing, his father's hand on the glass, his final smile, then orbit, then the planet below becoming fire. I watched them die. Tovin's face had gone pale. All of them, Darius said. The soldiers, the families, the cities. 2 million on the training planet, millions more swallowed by the war. 5 million losses for Reach, they call it now. A tragedy, a necessary cost, a number in books. His eyes sharpened. It was not a number to me. Silence. Darius finally turned. House Reach built peace on my dead. House Dawnfall defected and was rewarded for betrayal. Kenny became legend. Lord Rain became monster. And I became a survivor of the wrong side. Tovin whispered, You were a child. Yes. Darius smiled faintly. That is why I remember clearly. He walked back to the screen. To the galaxy, I'm nobody. A man with no house, no legal blood claim, no banner worth respecting. His eyes locked on the image of Aurora Reach frozen in a highlight reel. But technically, his voice lowered, I am the last of House Rain. Tovin stared. Darius pressed a hand against the screen. I will take blood for blood. The next day, Arena 16 was overflowing. The Tough Nut Challenge had become the most watched event of the week before it even began. Darius Voss against an unknown number of challengers. The crowd loved uncertainty almost as much as death. The arena itself was brutally simple. A huge circular stone platform surrounded by high walls, observation balconies, and hovering drones. No cover, no tricks, no terrain. Just the circle. Darius entered alone. The crowd roared. His name rolled through the stadium. Darius, Darius, Darius. He stepped into the central circle. The timer appeared overhead. Recruitment timer. 5 o'clock. He stood still, waiting. At first nothing happened, then one name appeared, then another, then 5, then 12. Darius smiled faintly. At 15 he almost laughed. That was around what he had expected. 20 names appeared, then 30. The crowd began screaming. 35. 38. 40. The timer hit 0. Registration closed. Challengers confirmed. 40. The entire arena shook with noise. Darius looked up at the number. For the first time that day, his smile vanished. The gates opened around the circle. Challengers emerged in waves, 31 strangers, and 9 wearing iron blood markings. Darius went still. His own faction walked onto the platform. Tovin stood among them, the nervous man from last night. Darius looked at him. Tovin looked terrified, but this time, he did not look away. The announcer's voice thundered. 40 challengers have entered. 1 target stands alone. Elimination condition. Death. Begin on horn. Before the horn sounded, Tovin stepped forward. His voice shook at first, then steadied. We're done. The arena quieted enough to hear him. Darius's eyes narrowed. Tovin continued. You protected us because you wanted soldiers. You fed us because hungry people are easier to command. You gave us weapons, then made sure we knew you'd use them on us if we failed. The other Ironblood members stood behind him, afraid, but together. Tovin lifted his blade. We're not your house. Darius stared. Tovin's voice rose. We're not your army. The crowd murmured. We joined because we feared you. He swallowed. But fear isn't loyalty. The horn sounded. Everything moved. The first wave came from all sides. Darius almost died in the first 10 seconds. A spear tore across his ribs, a shot grazed his shoulder, a hammer shattered the stone beside his knee. He moved violently, cutting through the first attacker's throat and driving a pistol shot into the second's chest. 2 dead. Then 4 were on him. Darius became motion. Blade, shot, elbow, knee. He killed a woman with a hooked axe by breaking her wrist and driving her own weapon beneath her chin. He disarmed a swordsman, spun him into the path of a charging brute, then shot both through the head. 5, 7, 9. The crowd roared, but numbers mattered. They always mattered. Darius was arrogant, not stupid. 40 opponents was not a fight. It was a storm. He killed one. 2 more cut him. He killed another. 3 forced him back. Blood slicked the stone. Some his. Mostly theirs. The Iron Blood defectors stayed together, waiting. Smart. Let the others weaken him first. Let the bounty hunters and glory seekers spend themselves against his edge. Darius noticed. He hated them more for being clever. At 20 kills, his breathing had changed. At 25, his left arm hung lower. At 30, the crowd was no longer chanting. They were watching with open-mouthed awe. Because Darius was still standing. Barely. But standing. A spear punched through his thigh. He screamed for the first time, not fear, rage. He grabbed the spear shaft, pulled the wielder forward and crushed the man's throat with his forehead. 31. Then Iron Blood came. All 9. Tovan first. Darius stumbled backward. For the first time he looked tired. Tovan saw it. So did the others. They attacked together. Blades from every side. Darius blocked one, took another across the back, dodged a third, failed to dodge the fourth. Blood sprayed. The crowd screamed. Darius drove his blade through one former follower's stomach. 34. Shot another point blank. 35. Tovan struck him across the face. Darius staggered. The arena gasped. Tovan pressed forward. You could have had loyalty. Darius blocked. Barely. Tovan hit him again. You chose fear. Another Iron Blood member slammed into Darius from behind. He fell. For 1 second, the last of House Rain was on his knees, surrounded by the people he had tried to own. Tovan lifted his blade. Darius looked up. Something broke in his expression. Or perhaps something returned. The child in the escape pod. The boy watching his world burn. The survivor who mistook revenge for purpose. Darius moved. He caught Tovan's wrist, yanked him downward and bit into his hand hard enough to make him scream. Then Darius took the blade. He rolled through the legs of another defector and opened him from hip to shoulder. A spear came for his spine. He twisted. It entered his side instead. He grabbed the shaft and pulled himself along it, impaling himself deeper just to reach the man holding it. The last 2 tried to retreat. Too late. Darius threw one stolen dagger. Then he limped toward the final Iron Blood defector. She backed away, crying. Darius's face was covered in blood. His own. Theirs. All of it. She dropped her weapon. Please. Darius looked at her. For 1 second, something almost human crossed his face. Then he remembered every face beneath the fire of Vaya. He struck. 40. The arena went silent. Then the scoreboard erupted. Tough nut complete. Darius Voss victorious. Challengers eliminated. 40. Reward unlocked. Ari's Mantle Combat Relic. Contestants remaining 259,400. The kill leaderboard changed. 1. Darius Voss. 68. 2. Kyle Silvaris. 26. 3. Aurora Reach. 6. 4. Ellie Dawnfall. 6. 5. Plum. 6. 6. Pines. 1. Darius stood alone in the circle. Not victorious. Not really. His faction was gone. His body was ruined. His hands shook. The crowd finally began to cheer. Then a voice cut through the broadcast from the spectator section. Plum. Not a great sign when your whole faction tries to kill you in one hit, mate. The crowd laughed. Darius slowly turned his head. Plum leaned over the railing, eyes sharp. How you gonna start a house with that kind of mojo? More laughter. Not the same as registration. Not harmless. This one hit meat. Darius felt it. Because she was right. For 1 second, the crowd was no longer looking at him as the butcher of the 12th Eclipse. They were looking at a man whose own people had chosen death over following him. Something cold twisted inside him. He looked toward Sparkle Doom. Aurora stared back, not laughing. That irritated him more. Pity would have been worse than mockery. Understanding would have been unbearable. He turned away. Medical drones descended. He shoved one aside and limped toward the exit. Every step left blood behind. The Ari's Mantle reward notification followed him on every screen. A legendary prize. A monstrous kill count. A broken body. No faction. No loyalty. No one waiting for him. Darius Voss had won the challenge. The last of House Rain had survived 40 against 1. And somehow, as he vanished beneath the arena gate, the victory felt almost like another escape pod, alone, above a burning world, again.